And finally, a guy who's done more video games than I've even heard of. He's also been seen on screen in Castle, Sullivan and Son, Two Broke Girls, and he is R. Chase D.C. Douglas. I want to do a shout out to the cast members who aren't here. Lacey Chabert, who plays Danny, who is shooting a movie up in Canada. And what I'd like to do is, Steve, DC, are you filming? Yep. If everybody in the audience can give a "We miss you, Lacey." 1, 2, 3.
We miss you, Lacey.
That's so nice. She'll love that. Also missing is LeVar Burton, who plays. Who? Who? No, he doesn't know. Before we start, though, I want to turn over to Mo, who's asked me to let him have the mic for a second.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Brian. We pumped up the energy, and now I'm going to just bring it down, as in true convention fashion. But there's something that needs to be said, an issue I need to address, and a statement I'd like to read, if possible. Beg your kind indulgence. 7 years ago, I made some imprudent remarks in the longest and least edited interview I have ever done. I said a lot of things about my career that day, which caused me to wince slightly upon rereading with a wiser head. That sole interview, one of my first for an internet outlet, has taught me to be a tad more brief and certainly more circumspect as I go on and on about myself in subsequent forays with the press. However, on this occasion, I was so thrilled that someone wanted to speak to me at length about my brilliant career that I thought I really had to give him some meat. I held forth on my views on finances, artistic license, creativity, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. However, just as I was really getting going, I was caught a bit off guard by the interviewer's further explanation, what was an offhand response to a question about a single episode of a very successful series I had the privilege of being part of. Nonetheless, I shot my big mouth off about how tedious the recording session for that single episode was, and thinking that by not naming the director, forgetting that unlike in the days when print media ruled, you could unearth almost any fact nowadays with just a few mouse clicks, I thought I could get away with making a few snarky observations about his particular style of directing. Let me say that there were some truths in my statements. I do stand by them. It was in fact the longest session I've ever done. That said, the performances derived from that and many other reportedly long sessions were obviously very worthwhile, or we wouldn't be standing here today, holding a convention in the name of the show that this man directed 98 episodes of. The original Transformers series gave rise to many offspring, including the series I currently have the privilege of working on, Transformers Rescue Bots, but most especially a certain billion-dollar movie franchise. If the original cartoon series didn't contain the unique performances it does, chances are things would not have worked out the way they have. Wally Burr deserves a ton of credit for that. As voice director, he is responsible for drawing the performances from his actors as he sees fit. That is his job, and he certainly did it very well. The show's sound and the performances of its excellent cast are certainly in the hands of its voice director. This is true of any show, but especially on the original Transformers, where the vocal performances were key, because the characters' physical renderings were so limited in their facial expressions. The fact that I was uncomfortable with a certain directing style should have remained my business. If I was any good at directing myself, I'd have a nice little second career going on. Heck, I don't even teach voiceover because imparting how to perform to an actor is such a specialized skill and not in my skill set. Also, I'd like to add here that Wally Burr did not line read me 72 times. That was an exaggeration for comedic effect. That effect obviously fell flat, and I apologize for that as well. And if I wanted to get out of that session to get to another job so I could make another session fee or to an audition, it was based on my own greed. I should have accepted the fact that if I'm booked for 8 hours, I should be prepared to stay the full 8 hours, doing whatever the hell the director tells me to do. I can only invoke the I was young, I was ambitious, and I was stupid defense. It was an immature response, and even though the interview was only 7 years ago, I guess I kind of remembered it with the head of the 27-year-old immature man that I was at the time, and spoke in that voice. The only other thing I'll say in my own defense, threadbare though it may be, is that in doing a bit of research on my correspondence with the interviewer, I came across an email in which I told him I'd do the interview, but I had just quit smoking days before, and I was really raw emotionally. It's no excuse, but at least explains to me in part how I could have been such an inconsiderate, long-winded dolt in that interview. Still, as I said, no excuse. In short, I've cast aspersions on the proficiency and expertise of a man who has brought us a great deal of entertainment. I was wrong to do so. I feel awful about it. I stand by another statement I made in that interview. I have always personally liked Wally Burke. He never did anything but treat me well, and with good humor and with friendliness, and I'm so sorry to have returned that with anything but appreciation for the opportunity to have worked at his studio, not only on Transformers, but on real Ghostbusters, and yes, even the Pops. I'm so sorry for any harm or hurt my foolish remarks have brought you, Wally, if you're out there, and I beg your forgiveness. Thank you. Nobody did. I really do. Thank you. You saw it. I appreciate it.
A magnanimous gesture we would expect from Chief Charlie Burke.
I get, you get numerous auditions as a voiceover actor. And when I got older, it was one of those auditions that were just clicked. Where, he loves humanity and he wants the best out of people. He wants the best out of life, the planet. And he's kind of a sap. And I'm kind of a sap. And and I have, I have a wife who's Swedish. She's over there, a little baby girl. I love cultures. I love everybody, and I think Boulder feels the same way too. And I think he loves his planet. I love my planet. I love my country. So I think it's not to get all patriotic. That was a little patriotic.
Are you running for office?
2016. Boulder's going to be on the pedestal. Rule the world.
Time for me to tweet some pictures of that.
He's gonna hug and kiss everybody in this audience too.
Everybody. Come over and see us for autographs, folks. You can get some hugging. But this show is probably the most fabulous things a dream come true. I've been a Transformers fan since my son's age, since I was 5 years old, and I love this show. It's a great opportunity, and I'm very, 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 very thankful.
That's great. Thanks, Boulder. Jason said something interesting about how Kate sounds just like you. I think
that Chief Burke spent a little bit of his maybe school years in Texas. And then moved back, So there's a little twang to him that I just can't seem to get rid of. People keep saying it's actually on his toes. Can you give it a little Pepperidge Farm? No. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Elon, I rib, I kid. But each script, we get to a point where it's Cody who has the answer, and I always kind of improv a little bit afterwards. Cody, thank goodness he came up with that. We have 4 college-educated kids here, but thank God you, an 11-year-old boy, thought, kill the enemy. That's great. And of course, they never used that take. I don't know why. But the show is geared towards younger kids. So, for that identification, it's a great thing for them to see that there's a kid their age who can actively participate in finding the solution for the show's dilemma or problem. So, of course, I have a little bit of fun at Elon's expense in the session.
Elon behaves much better than you do, Mo.
He truly does. I'm the oldest and maybe the worst behaved member of the cast. Let's tell you the truth. I think so.
I think actually Lacey does.
Oh, that Lacey Chabert.
she's not here. So it's her cell phone, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking about our younger members of the audience, Jerry, do you have the video queued up? Before we talk to Diamond, I want to show a special moment from season 1.
I'm available.
Kate, leave a message.
I'm still available.
You've reached the rescue bots.
We are currently performing our civic duty to uphold all forms of laws.
We're catching up on must-see TV.
Just leave a message at the tone.
Bye.
Mine.
Also, I love you. Love you.
Kind of a quick one for Mr. LaMarche, just because I don't know how many people know this. You have that ability to make that inhuman noise from like the great Wackarot. That could we get a demonstration of the inhuman noise?
Oh my God, that's like after Mommy Burger.
It's an effect. It's not really a burp, but it's burp-like, and it's also something I use for vomiting goats on Futurama. I turn my tongue inside out while making a guttural rasp, and it comes out sounding something like this. That was used as the 15-second bells for help. It's my job.
Looks like this will be our last question. Go ahead.
What's up, dude?
What's it like to work with Dr. Morocco?
Did you get to record with Tim Curry, or did you record separately? We also want to know how he's feeling.
Yes, Tim, as you know, is the voice of Dr. Morocco. I don't think anybody actually worked with him.
I met him at the Art Light 6 months before I found out I was on a show with him.
That was the only session I showed up too early because I just wanted to troll him. I sat in the booth like,
Who does Tim Curry? You do, DC. Yes, you do. You sing Rocky Horror all the time. No, every time we mention Tim Curry, you sing.
How much do I?
People have the mind.
Because it's recorded by himself, but yeah, we're very sorry to hear about his illness, and we hope to be able to work with him again in the future.
I just want to say, Maurice and Steve, following your careers in a very long time. All you young voice actors, I hope in 20 years my son can bring his son to a convention.
I think it's a nicer way to this session than that nice thought. So I think we're on to the autograph booth now. If anybody wants to meet these guys even closer. And thank you very much for coming. We hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
thank you, love you guys. We really do.